Hey guys, it is Annie Reid. I want to give a big thank you to Mindy, first off, for inviting me to speak on your call. It's really cool to pop in here today and just share my story, and hopefully my story, my journey inspires you guys that you can too, because I am just an everyday average girl from a tiny town, a country town in the middle of Illinois. My dad's a farmer. My town has 5,000 people. Everyone in it made fun of me when I started coaching, and I'm a success story. And if you believe you can do it, you can achieve it. So I'm going to share my story today, and bear with me. I've been coaching since August 2011, so it's a longer story, and it has some twists and turns in it that I'm excited to share with you. So I originally became a coach. This is the funny part. I think it was May of 2010, I became a coach. My coach was sharing her fitness journey on Facebook, a YouTube video. And I actually went to college with my coach's ex-husband, and he was sharing her transformation video, and it was annoying. You know, like, you kept seeing this video, and back then people weren't doing this stuff. We were still sharing random parts about our day on Facebook, but we weren't really using it for networking in the way we do today. So I kept seeing her YouTube video, and it would annoy me so bad until finally one day I was like, I can't take it anymore. Like, what is this chick doing, and why do I keep seeing her in a bikini on my newsfeed? And so my coach and her husband, they came to my house. They did a shake and share. Some of you might not know what that is. A shake and share was simply, they came to my house like a home party kind of. They made shakes for everyone. They played a little video on Shakeology. They just talked about their health journey, and I bought samples, 5 days of samples for me and my husband. So I bought 10 samples, and we tried Shakeology for like 5 days. And at the end of 5 days, my husband was like, you have to order more of this. And I was like, what? Like, you want me to order 2 bags of this stuff? So I signed up as a discount coach right then and there to order us 2 bags of Shakeology a month. And I really didn't plan to do anything with it. And so that was like May, June 2010. My husband and I were doing P90X. We had 2 little kids. Aubrey was, I think she was like 4, Everett was 3. And we were just working on ourselves. We were doing P90X, drinking our shakes, getting results. I felt really great about myself. And then, surprise, I was pregnant with our 3rd child. And we were continuing to do our workouts, drink our shake, take care of ourselves. And then October 4th, 2010, our world basically stopped on a dime and crashed around us. We went to a level 2 ultrasound. My husband and I thought that day we were just going to take the day off of work, have a date day, a really great ultrasound, and we left that ultrasound office in crumbles. We found out there that our 3rd baby, who's a little girl, was, she most likely had Down syndrome. She had several markers for Down syndrome. They call them soft markers. She had several soft markers for Down syndrome. She had a very serious heart defect that would require open heart surgery. And that day, like I said, our world just crashed. And I actually quit coaching to save money, which is like one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my entire life. And I wouldn't have listened to my coach if she would have told me the possibility with it back then, but I quit coaching to save money. We quit Shakeology, we quit everything, and I just kind of was in survival mode the rest of my pregnancy. And February 2011, Ollie Faith entered the world, and she did in fact have Down syndrome. She did in fact have a very serious heart defect, but oh, she was perfect. And so she entered the world in February. Within a month, she was immediately in heart failure, and I couldn't go back to work. The thought of sitting in my cubicle, I used to work customer service for a very large agricultural software company, the largest in the United States, and I was the inventory specialist. It's a long job title. But I worked in a cubicle, and I answered the phones, and I helped people fix their inventory. And the thought of me sitting in a cubicle and doing those things while my baby was at home in heart failure was just not an option for me. So I extended my maternity leave. I stayed home. Emotionally, we were at our lowest point. Physically, my husband and I were both hot messes. And financially, things were spiraling out of control. The day before her 4-month birthday, we handed her over to a team of surgeons. It's the hardest thing we've ever had to do for open heart surgery. I could try not to cry because I don't like to cry. We handed her over for open heart surgery in St. Louis and waited, prayed that we would get her back and that she would be okay and she would survive it. And so that was kind of what we were doing in that gap of not coaching. And they gave us back Ollie, and Ollie is this tiny little rock star. Like, you'll need to go follow my page and look at her. Ollie is like life at the party, class clown. Her personality is so big. She's so funny. They gave us her back. She was in the heart ICU for 5 days, and then she came home on over-the-counter Tylenol. Like, it still blows my mind. Over-the-counter Tylenol, 5 days after open heart surgery, she came home. She's amazing. And within a month, Ollie started physical therapy, and she was 5 months old. She couldn't hold her head up. She couldn't do anything that my other babies had done so easily. And she started her physical therapy, and I would watch her in these sessions, and she would work so hard to do the things my other kids just did. And it was in those moments that I realized my excuses are invalid. I need to change. And I need to do it for my kids. So I reached out to my coach again for the second time, and luckily she put me in a challenge group. I was using a bag of Shakeology that I'd opened that was like a year old, so it was probably expired, and I drank it anyways. I didn't die. I had a burnt copy of Turbo Fire that my sister burnt for me. And originally I used to watch Turbo Fire on the couch and have snacks with my sister, which is ridiculous. But Lauren let me in the group. I didn't buy anything from her, but she knew I just needed something because, like I said, financially, physically, emotionally, we were at the worst place of our lives. So I joined this challenge group, and I was really nervous, and I started to love it. Like, you guys know how much you love challenge groups. I started to love this challenge group. Within 30 days, I'd lost like 5, maybe 10 pounds. I don't remember. I signed up as a coach again, second time, for the discount only, put it all on my credit card. Back then we didn't have challenge packs, so I bought Shakeology. I paid the coaching fee, put it all on my credit card, which was stupid, but at the same point I was desperate for change. And at this point I had officially quit my job. I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. For those of you that have kids with special needs, you realize just how much goes into it. Hours of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, developmental therapy, pediatrician appointments, specialist appointments. That first year or two with Ollie, we were gone like every day somewhere. And because I live 2 hours from St. Louis and I live 30 minutes from a bigger town, I was always on the road, and gas was expensive. Like, everything was it was just hard. Quitting my job cut our income in half, and we went from this like living the dream family. My husband built us our house. He built it himself. So we had this new house, new to us minivan. We were like on top of the world, and then all this happened, and we just crashed and burned. We were forced to go on a form of public aid just to get by. My sister, this is another crazy part, my sister moved into our basement with her husband and daughter just to help us through all the doctor appointments, through the hospital stays, so our other kids would have some normalcy. And she was building a house next door, so it kind of worked out. But she lived in my basement, and I swear that was one of the only reasons my husband and I didn't lose everything, because Maggie helped buy groceries and Maggie helped pay the electric bill, and it was just a really hard time in our life. And I didn't see coaching coming. I was 40 pounds overweight when I started, and a huge fan of McDonald's French fries. Huge fan. Never really worked out before. So this challenge group just like rocked my world, and I started to get results, and I loved it. And so then my coach is in the Million Club. She's a 2-time top 10 coach. Back at that point in my life, she was the only person really sowing belief in me that I could do more. And so she started saying, Annie, let me help you pay for your Shakeology so you don't have to pay for it. And I was like, okay, that's great. She taught me how to do it. I did that. And then we did a call about whys. And if you guys don't know your why, you need to figure your why out. There's a really good book I'm reading right now by Simon Sinek, and I think it's actually called Find Your Why. Excuse me. It's in the other room. But I was on a call, and I found my why that night. And that moment in time, I can still tell you exactly where I was, what I was doing, changed my life. And from then on, I decided to go balls to the wall with coaching. And I was going to see what would happen with it. I was at least going to fall on my face trying, but I wasn't going to live a life anymore on public aid. I wasn't going to live a life anymore overweight and unhappy and miserable. And all of these things affected my marriage. My husband's my high school sweetheart, my best friend. We've been together 21 years. And all of that was giving us marital issues too, which was really, really hard for me. So I decided to start running fitness accountability groups. And I set a goal to get our family off of public aid, which was $700 a month. Like $700 a month was life-changing for us. And my coach said, Annie, you can totally do that. 3 to 4 months, you can get off public aid. She told me what to do. It was basically, we didn't really have the same parameters of Success Club then as we do now, but basically it was like, hit Success Club, add 3 coaches to your team. Done. I did it. 3 to 4 months, we called and got off public aid. It was crazy. In the spring of that year, I went on my first Success Club trip with my coach. She was a top 10 coach. I got to sit around with all the top 10 leaders and hear their stories. Just being around those people propelled me forward. And I started to think, I want to be an elite coach. I want to go all in. I want to replace my old full-time income, which was $40,000. And I started to work to do those things. And trust me, I'm an introvert. I'm super awkward in person. My whole town thought it was the biggest joke ever. I would go to t-ball games and people would talk about me and laugh about me. And it was really hard for me as the former people pleaser to have these people saying these things about me. But I realized that their opinions don't pay my bills. And I worked harder. Like, their judgment pushed me to work harder. So I hit $40,000 a year, and I thought, oh gosh, what can I do next? I'm going to go for 6 figures. And then I did it. And I hit elite. I hit elite 3 different times. But that is kind of my journey with Ollie. But here's the cool part, what has changed even more so since we had Ollie, and she kind of threw me into this world of coaching, and we found success. So our newest adventure, I think the coolest thing, by far the coolest thing our family has ever done, is this past March, we flew halfway around the world over to China, and we adopted another little girl with Down syndrome. So now we have 2 little girls with Down syndrome. And so we just got Edie in March. Her name's Edie Joy. And like, I had always wanted to do that. Ever since we had Ollie, I knew what happened internationally with orphans that had, or what happened internationally when kids had special needs. And I knew the need was high, and there's a lot of things that go along with it, but I always felt like our family was called to adopt. And because of this income, because of this coaching gig, we were able to say yes to her. We were able to fly halfway around the world and afford it and go and get her and realistically save her life. And I think in ways she's saved our life too, but that's what you guys have in your hands with this coaching opportunity. No matter where you are today, like, I was the girl where $30, $100 was life-changing. It helped us pay for groceries. It meant we didn't go bankrupt. It meant we didn't lose our house. I was the girl that started making, $40,000 a year staying home with her 3 kids, going to special needs therapy appointments, taking my other 2 kids to gymnastics that we were finally able to afford, or t-ball, or whatever it was they were doing. Like, I gotta be my dream job. I've always been the girl that never knew what she wanted to be when she grew up. I always wanted to be a mom, a stay-at-home mom, like my mom was. It was always my dream job, but being broke on public aid as a stay-at-home mom was never a part of that picture. So coaching has allowed me to do that. So I've been able to be home, build a thriving, successful business with 3 little kids, now 4 little kids, and it's just been a dream come true. For those of you that are in the grindstone of it, to be successful at this, you're gonna have to maybe give up some things. So for years, I didn't watch television. I stayed up late when my family went to bed. I got up early when my family wasn't awake. I had less sleep. I worked in the nooks and crannies of my day. For those of you that stay home with kids, you understand that even if you're home all day, like, your day goes so fast, so fast. So I just had little snippets of time, 20 minutes here while they eat lunch, 20 minutes here while, they're playing and actually engaged in something to work my business. And I worked probably 60, 80 hours a week at least to grow this business the first 2-3 years. Constantly working. I was obsessive about coaching to be successful. I was obsessive about it. But it was okay, because I knew if I was obsessive then and I invested so much time and heart and energy into it, it would create the freedom down the road that it has for us. And thankfully, my husband, take your spouses to events, get them involved, let this be their business too. And thankfully, my husband was in it with me, and he had the vision as well. So he would say, you go do that team call, I'll put the kids to bed. You go do that team call. Even though you're a stay-at-home wife and mom and you haven't touched the laundry all day, I'll fold laundry for you. Like, he did those things for me so I could grow this. So get your spouse involved. If you're having a spouse that's very skeptical, take them with you. Let them see the vision as well. All right, guys, I talked too long. I am so sorry, but that is me. That is my life in a nutshell. I hope it inspires you that you can do crazy, awesome, cool things with this business. My story isn't necessarily going to be your story. Probably not, because not a whole lot of people have kids with Down syndrome. But I just want to encourage you, no matter what your story is, no matter how big or how small or how cool or how insignificant your story feels to you, you need to share it. You need to get out there. You need to get vulnerable and put it out there for other people, because I guarantee when you start sharing your story, your journey, your aspirations, your struggles, your successes, there's gonna be people out there, your avatar, your tribe, that say, me too, and they're gonna wanna join you. That's how you build your business. So work hard, guys, dream big, and tell yourself you're gonna be here not a year from now, 5 years from now. You're gonna be here down the road. And if you are consistent, it's going to grow for you. All right. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for listening. And hopefully I'll see you at a future event. All right. Bye.